Hello everyone. Welcome back to part 6 of National Curriculum Framework Foundational Stage. It is always good if you can watch the earlier 5 videos and then come to this 6th one, because all this is a continuation of the Foundational Stage National Curriculum Framework booklet released by CBSE as a part of improving quality education at schools. By the way, I'm Dr. Padmavati Tungaturthi from Teach Connect. I'm a quality education specialist. I train teachers and mentor principals. In the part 5 video, we've taken up one component, that is physical development, as a curriculum goal. In that, competencies have been discussed. That video will have a clear understanding of the curricular goal and how to read the curricular goal. Therefore, if you can watch that, this video will make sense to you all, and it will be good as a following video follow-up for that. Now, curriculum goal 4 will be from the domain socio-emotional and ethical development. This SEED, hereinafter what we call socio-emotional ethical development, is a continuation of the physical development as a per se activity. For example, if the curriculum goal is children develop emotional intelligence, that's the curriculum goal. How is it? The ability to understand and manage their own emotions and respond positively to social norms. If you analyze this curricular goal, that is balancing oneself and emotion, then along with peers and with the teachers. The peers, the collaboration, and as well as with the teachers. If you can follow the curricular goal 4, then it is easy to understand the competencies, learning outcomes, which obviously follow into learning objectives. Therefore, when children develop emotional intelligence, there are 2 parts of this developing emotional intelligence. One is with the self, with the peers, and with the collaborative group, with the teacher, of course. And the next way, responding positively to social norms. There is a response component also. They should be expressive. That is, the child should understand that there are peers in the group, there is a collaboration going on, they should be able to cooperate. And if you can go through the booklet of National Curriculum Framework Foundational Stage, the competencies are clearly given here. They understand and respond positively to the environment. They must show kindness. They have to share the space. They have to see that they share their toys with the others. This is what is meant by responding positively to social norms. The next curricular goal 5 is to develop a positive attitude. Yes, fantastic. But where? With what's the direction? The direction is also given in the curricular goal. Children develop a positive attitude towards productive work and service. What's the productive work? That is an age-appropriate work, both at home and at school. Keeping their own books in the bag or helping their friends, sharing and caring. Whatever the activity is created in the learning objective with respect to the learning outcome and the competencies, the physical development also should be taken care of, as this is domain 2. We can only develop an attitude in the child, develop a positive attitude. The direction is towards productive work, whatever can be done in the classroom or whatever can be done at home. And curricular goal 6. They should have a positive regard for natural environment around them. If we look at the gradation of this topic, it is self going into the classroom, and next now towards the environment. They should be able to enjoy and keep themselves engaged in whatever they are doing. Therefore, what's the positivity? That's about the natural environment around them. They should be able to enjoy playing in the sand. They should be able to enjoy and engage themselves sitting under a tree and having a picnic, going to a field trip, etc. Therefore, a positive regard is very important for the children to develop their SEED concept, that is socio-emotional and ethical development. Now, the next domain is cognitive development. Again, looking at the curricular goal, it is easy to zero in the competencies. Not many, maybe 3 or 4 competencies are given under each curricular goal, because guidance is always important. Under cognitive development is learning and reading and writing, as we all know. But the irony here shows that they should be able to make sense of world around through observation and logical thinking. This is a good news for all the schools who are very progressive in nature and don't bother about teaching the children from 1 to 1000 or 1 to 500 or whatever it is. That's not the way we teach the children. The curricular goal clearly says, this is number 7 goal, they make sense of world around them through observation and logical thinking. 2 aspects are given. Yes, they make sense of world which is around, and that's by observation and logical thinking. It is not writing, reading, or whatever it is. Again, there should be a peer collaborative attitude, self-management, where we take the physical development, SEED, along with that it is cognitive development which happens. Now, what does it mean by observation and logical thinking? Are they able to group objects? Are they able to connect with the family relations? Like, who is your mom and who is your dad? And who is your brother or sister? Where are we? And what is that they are using these observations in daily life situation? That's curricular goal 7. It says that observation and logical thinking are 2 parts of it. And curricular goal 8, it clearly reads that they should have a mathematical understanding. It is nowhere mentioned about rote learning. And ability to recognize the world through quantities, shapes, and measures. Only 3 things: quantities, shapes, and measures. Therefore, wherever we prepare a lesson plan, either group it under a quantity for a math lesson plan for a PP child, and group it under shapes, and group it under measures. It should fall within these 3 only. That is what they are doing. They will develop an understanding. It is not necessary that they have an understanding and join the school. Whatever they have learned from 0 to 3 years, from there we develop this. They should recognize the world. Doesn't mean that everything has to happen in the classroom. It can happen outdoors too. The learning can happen at home too. That is the basic geometric shapes. If they can divide, group them, cluster them, understand the variations in the shades and the shapes, small measurements, these are all very important. That's why the curricular goal 8 says that they should be able to group it, group everything, have an understanding for the quantities, shapes, and measures. And now measuring, is this money more or less? Is 10 rupees more than 20 rupees or less than 20 rupees? This ascending and descending is more than enough for children. And never make an attempt to teach them addition of all these objects, things. And if it is a playway, that's a different thing. But there is no necessity. There are simple mathematical problems related to quantities, shapes, space, like problems, space, mathematical problems related to quantities mean, is this more or less? Is this big or small? Do we really have anything here? Is it zero or something? This kind of understanding is enough for the children. Now comes the next one, that is language and literacy development. That is for the curricular goal 9. Language and literacy development should be very carefully handled, and it comes only after the domain cognitive development. Curricular goal 9 states that effective communication must be developed for day-to-day interactions in both the languages. We can only develop effective communication, day-to-day conversations which we can share with the children, get those responses. That should be in 2 languages. Things are inevitable now. That is, both the languages have to be taken care of. There should be a mother tongue language. There should be a school instruction language. It's nice if the teachers come to terms with this kind of language and proceed further and try to use both the languages. Now, what do we mean by day-to-day conversations and interaction? How about music, rhymes, poems, stories, teaching them stories in the playway method, involving them, role plays, asking them to make a story with a few objects, with a few puppets and plots. Let the story be anything. Are they able to frame a continuity? Because the earlier concept tells us that there should be an observation and logical understanding. Bring in one domain after the other. But when the 4th domain is dealt, we have to bring in the first 2, 3 domains also into this. This will be a very effective way of teaching the children. And I'm really enjoying doing this video for y'all because I'm finding pleasure how the gradation is going to happen, and I'm already able to visualize it. Now the curricular goal 10, coming under the language and literacy development of the child. Children develop fluency in reading and writing in language 1. We're talking about one language only, and it's for the school to choose whether it should be their mother tongue or the language of instruction. But conversing with children with mother tongue is always good. Otherwise, we can take the help of a parent volunteer to converse with them. And how are they going to develop the fluency? They can't start off with fluency. They have to only develop reading poems to them, stories, accurately pronouncing with them, playing with them, comprehending the meanings. All these will be coming under developing fluency. A child can only develop the fluency when taught many times a word or interacting with the teacher to speak and converse in the first language, that is language 1. And then the facilitator will help them. The joy will not know any bounds when the teacher is passionate about teaching the children. Now it is curricular goal 11. Children begin to read and write in language 2. How are they going to write the other language also by the end of grade 2? They blend the phonics. They try to understand the syllables, segments, pronunciation, and that will be a fantastic exercise for them to proceed with the language. As I've been telling you, it is inevitable to use both the languages. Therefore, let us put these practices into place and understand the beauty of teaching the children. Now comes 5th domain, Aesthetic and cultural development. Who doesn't like being aesthetic? But the children should be taught about this aesthetic development, nature also. They develop the ability and sensibility in visual and performing arts and express their emotions through art in meaningful and joyful ways. Now, this is very important component because children tend to express themselves with gestures, words, and art. When they are able to use art as a form of expressing a poem, a story, a role play, either it can be a visual art or a performing art. These are the competencies which we can derive from the curricular goals. And they go on further to become the learning objectives. Learning objectives, we take small components, group them to make a learning outcome, and that will become a competency. A group of learning outcomes will become a competency. They always find their own voice. They imitate with their own voice. They make sounds of various voices. If you show the mother role, they might change their voice and speak. And if they are pretending to be a father or pretending to be a brother, a principal, their voice might change. And their body language might change. And that's a movement for the children. That is what we call as appreciation for the culture. That is, cultural development is very important. It cannot happen suddenly. It has to be, it should go on with the lesson and curriculum. Therefore, when we come to this aesthetic and cultural development, we should keep in mind the cognitive development, the language and literacy development, and then aesthetic and cultural development. Now, the choice is yours, how you can frame the competencies into the learning outcomes, into the learning objectives. Definitely, positive learning habits are very important for children. They should be actively engaged in the formal learning. It's not play every time, but learning through play. We have to keep in mind that learning has to happen at school, and the school environment must support learning. The school classroom must support learning. Then these are the domains where the teachers have to focus. I'm sure teachers and principals, it will happen, provided we make an attempt to bring the children to that point where we already have visualized. Thank you so much for watching my video. And this session of mine is very fantastic, I feel. Now, this will be a hand-holding for the teachers to prepare their lesson plans also. Please share this video to at least one pre-primary teacher or a foundational stage teacher and help all schools improve their quality of education at schools. Thank you so much.